On the path of life, we all have our own unique destiny. The life of every soul has a heroic probability to manifest into its highest levels of abundance and joy, and to be filled with goodness and divine inspiration. That's why I created Awakening with Sarah. And it is my hope to be a guide for you on the journey, bringing powerful tools, helpful wisdom, healing music, and inspirational guests to nourish and bless your journey of awakening. So thanks for joining us today, and we'll be on to our episode. Pamela Johnson is an amazing and wonderful human being who began having first contact experiences when she was a child, seeing UFOs and knowing that she was connected to beings beyond this earth plane. And she has had an amazing, colorful journey in her life, always moving beyond the social norms to bring forth wider and more expansive paradigms. And we're just going to free flow here in this episode. There's these moments, overzealous light workers get together and we kind of we interrupt each other sometimes. And so there's one moment where I'm just like, all right, I need to say what I'm saying. But I just love her so dearly. And she's down in Puerto Escondido, Mexico. And so I dressed up in the Mexican way and had my backdrop as a beach in Tulum. So it was really fun. It was just like two sistars just talking about, the wild and wacky world of being a multidimensional being and being, a path cutter, reaching out to the vaster levels of the universe to assist with the changing of the guard on planet Earth from a fear-based to a love-based reality, and that all that we go through as first embodiers of the divine blueprint that is returning for all humanity in this amazing time. So I'm really looking forward to our to presenting this chat today. I want to thank Pamela for joining me. Hi, Pamela. Thanks for coming today. I'm looking forward to chatting.
Me too. Me too. So much going on, and it's just really good to talk it out with people too.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. And so, tell us a little bit about, kind of the Cliff Notes version of how you got here.
My goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, my story is lifelong this time, as far as having a knowing that I'm different, there's something going on, there's something I'm involved with, beings and E.T.s in my bedroom when I was little, flying, and then contact of every kind of, looking at life from both sides now for a long time. And well, so it's been, a constantly learning what's going on, what's happening, this consciousness shift.
Yep.
And the energetics, I had a lot to do with energetics, working with galactics, testing, let's say, how much energy, frequency they would allow through. We're full frequency now, and we have been for, I don't know,
Now,
maybe
when you
since
say full frequency,
2012.
yeah, when you say full frequency, are you talking about like how much energy that they're emitting towards us?
Well, they're transfer ships like Galactic Central Sun codes and energy. And they're
Yeah.
like transfer ships. They were protecting the Earth from getting the full blast of it because
Yeah,
we
yeah,
were
yeah,
in
like the
it.
blue avians. Remember how Corey
Yes,
Good
yes,
talked about the blue avians and how they were keeping the Earth from getting those super high frequencies, right? But
exactly.
now
And
we don't have any buffers. It's just like,
yeah, exactly. And I would be um, a test case. I was a test case.
like for
And it
how
was
much
when you
frequency can you
lay
hold?
in bed, lay in bed, and they'd build the frequency up, 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 up. And several times I would levitate off the bed and go, enough, enough,
Enough.
enough. And even though I was getting used to handling in my body
Yeah.
such
And so I'm so happy to invite Pamela to the show. Hi, Pamela. Thanks for coming today. I'm looking forward to chatting.
me too. Me
Yeah,
too. So much going on. And it's just really good to talk it out with people too.
it absolutely is. It absolutely is. And so, yeah, I mean, tell us a little bit about, kind of the Cliff Notes version of how you got here.
My goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, my story is lifelong this time as far as having a knowing
Mhm.
that I'm different, there's something going on, there's something I'm involved with, you know, beings and E.T.s in my bedroom when I was little, flying, and then contact of every kind of, looking at life from both sides now for a long time. And well, so it's been, a constantly learning what's going on, what's happening, this consciousness shift.
Yep.
And the energetics, I had a lot to do with energetics, working with galactics, testing, um, let's say, how much uh, uh, energy, frequency
Yeah.
they would allow through. We're full frequency now, and we have been for, I don't know,
Now,
maybe
when you
since
say full
since
frequency,
2012.
yeah, when you say full frequency, are you talking about like how much energy that they're emitting towards us?
Well, they're transfer ships like Galactic Central Sun codes and energy. And they're
Yeah.
like transfer ships. They were protecting the earth from getting the full blast of it because
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
weren't
Like the
in it.
blue avians. Remember how Courtney
Yes,
Good
yes,
talked about the blue avians and how they were keeping the earth from getting those super high frequencies, right? But
exactly.
now we
And
don't have any buffers. It's just like,
yeah, exactly. And I would be a test case. I was a test case.
like for
And it
how
was
much frequency can you
lay
hold?
in bed, lay in bed, and they'd build the frequency up, 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 up. And several times I would levitate off the bed and go, enough, enough,
Enough.
enough. You know, and even though I was getting used to handling in my body
Yeah.
such intense frequency, um,
You're the
you know,
tester.
that
If Pamela can take it, the rest of the human race can take it. But that's not necessarily,
not
that's not good
necessarily
because you
true
are an
because
outlier.
I was
Frontline.
practicing, you know. I mean,
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
doing it daily, laying in bed daily,
Yeah.
um, working with frequency, doing my on my life review and doing in the 90s, you know, and the early 2000s, doing letting that all the bullshit come to me so I could see it, so I could do the forgiveness and the
Yes.
clearing and get it out of the way. And I would lay down nightly to do that. And it included also the frequency work, you know.
Yeah.
So what I'm able to hold in frequency, and I've seen this, you know, in the last 10 years, because a lot of people just woke up in 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
And, you know, so they're always like, these are the symptoms you're going to have after we have this CME. And it's like, well, thank God, not me, because I've already done that. But, you know, as the leveling up, as they're leveling up
Well,
and doing the
yeah.
work.
Yeah. So what's interesting, and I don't know how much of Lisa Renee you follow, but you know I'm in energetic
Yes,
synthesis. It's like one of my
all of it.
without Lisa Renee and energetic synthesis, I probably would have been like put away by now. She's the only one that really explains it. And of course,
I was
right,
put away. I
I
was put
know
away a
you
couple
were.
of
You want to tell
times.
that story?
No, I don't want to tell the story. But it's interesting
Yeah.
when you've got, I met other starseeds.
Right,
It was a
right.
very nice hospital, mental health unit, locked down. And I met other starseeds
Of
and we
course.
got
Yeah.
to talk. And so it was very helpful because they, you know, we were all being told we were bipolar and we needed drugs. And so we would discuss and we would say, no, I don't like those drugs. And we would pretend to take them. We would discuss what we needed. It was, thank God
You had each other.
I had been alone in that. I
Yeah.
knew I was crazy compared to everybody else, you know.
But the thing is, in India, they called people that were, shamans and multidimensional channelers, they were called like God intoxicated saints. And they were the shamans and the leaders. Like in the Native
Right,
American
right.
tribes, you had this context, oh, awesome, you're our seer, you're our
Yeah,
shaman, you're our medicine woman or medicine man. But in this Western culture, it's like, no, you fit in the 3D mind,
right,
you
right.
fit into the 3D box. And if you don't, we're going to diagnose you, with the
So yeah, we're
DSM-3.
bipolar shamans. Yeah, we're Western shamans
Yes.
because we see things, we hear things other people don't hear. In a tribal setting, that person would be, yep, you're it,
Yeah, you're
right?
the seer, right? You're the
Yeah,
prophet, the
yeah. Well,
visionary.
there was, you know,
In the
a whole
90s.
lot of effort to try to shut us down.
Oh
Didn't
yeah, but you wouldn't be shut down. I love that story
didn't
where you guys
work.
like climbed out of the mental institution and down the stairs and onto the grass, running around in your
We
nightgown.
did. I stole the keys. I stole the keys to the, you know the story. I stole the keys. And one night there was
Yes.
a bunch of us. There was like a bunch of us, six maybe. the starseed ones.
Yeah.
So 4 of us were starseeds, and maybe 6 of us. We snuck out of the hospital and we spent the night under the moon. The hospital was on top of a big hill,
Oh, that's
rolling down the grass, laughing, playing. We had to turn ourselves in the morning, but it
but
was
that
a
is
great night.
worth it. You got to
Like one
roll
flew over
down
the
the
cuckoo's
grass.
nest.
Yeah, like kids, right? You just
Yeah,
get to be kids, right? Like if
yeah,
we had a society that had given us way more parameters, way more leeway for playfulness, for
yeah,
joy, for freedom,
yeah,
we wouldn't be in the situation of like bipolar. It's like, no, we're sitting at desks in a school, staring at a blackboard and having to
yeah,
get graded while we like ask if we can go to the bathroom. I mean, what the heck is that? I mean, that's just like prison. So then there's like any of us that had freedom codes that were at all active were
yeah,
outside the norm. But see, when I grew up in my elementary and junior high and high school, I was the perfect little perfectionistic fit in the box, right? I had my nervous breakdown in 1983. So up
mm,
till 1983, like I was in orchestra, I was in choir. We had the best orchestra in the whole in the whole of the United States. We had the
mm-hmm.
best choir. So I was like a performer and I was singing in competitions and getting straight A's. And I wore my little Capizio shoes with a matching shirt and a matching skirt. I was like the perfect student and blah, blah. 1983 hits, whammo. I'm at UCLA. And I'd always said, school is very restrictive. I don't like it. Some part of me is just, I'm not happy. I was always falling in love with boys and this hopeless romantic, and just like, and doing tons of work and not happy. I mean, really not happy. And I'd say, when I get to college, it's going to get better. There's be more freedom. Well, I got to UCLA and it was worse, of course, because there's more pressure. There's more academic pressure. And I remember sitting on that bus to UCLA and I just said, I will not live like this for one more day. 5 hours later, panic. The whole world goes black. Victory. I'm out of this fucking hellhole, right?
Well,
And then
square
I was
peg in a round
housebound.
hole, right?
I was housebound for a good 7 months. I could not even leave the house. The panic was just,
Yeah,
oh,
it's the
so,
whole thing of not knowing where you fit. You try
yeah.
so hard, you're trying so hard. Luckily, in high school, which I don't remember any of high school, but straight A's, and I don't remember even studying. It was a thing like, I know this
You're
stuff.
just osmosis, woman.
I did. I was like acing calculus.
See, I worked hard. Like I was
I didn't work.
working
It just,
hard.
it was like, there were times in my life when I needed that and work environments and things where I needed that. Oh, download me this information so I can do this work. And yeah, we do that. We do that all the time,
Yeah, I
but
wasn't yet
take
doing
advantage.
that. In high school, I had to like spin all the wheels, right? I didn't know
Mm.
that I was one with everything. Back then, it was like I was
Right.
this little perfectionistic automaton that was like super cognitive, and and yeah,
Yeah, of course. Of course. We really didn't start getting a hint. See, for me, it was all about UFOs and abductions until the harmonic convergence. And then I was like, oh,
yeah, you were a lot.
ascension.
So, you were earlier than
Oh,
I was, right? Because in the 80, like in 83, I mean, I've been at it for 39 and a half years, like pretty much, right? Because it started
all
in
your life for
83.
sure. Yeah.
And in 83, it's hard to say, like, not a lot. I'm trying to think of like what characterized so from 83 to 90 was basically getting over panic attacks. The doctors said, you're very sensitive, you can't eat sugar, your system can't handle sugar, you're very sensitive, you have panic attacks and agoraphobia, all the diagnoses,
Phobias.
and depression. and you've got some bipolar. I mean, I had it's like a garden variety of everything, and they just told me, I'm trying to like frame this. It's like there's so much to say. So from the 83 to 90, it was all about getting over panic attacks, right? And starting to be in the world and trying antidepressants, thinking, oh, there's a pill that's going to make it better. And my higher self was like, there's no pill. You're from another dimension. I mean, I started to, you're here to break this entire system. You're here to dismantle everything that keeps humanity enslaved. You're not going to get better from a pill. You've got to control the amount of fear that's running through your consciousness. You're going to have to bring in love. Every day you're going to have to take that inner child by the hand and say, you're safe. I love you. Don't listen to the scaring voice, right? Which is the satanic matrix, of course, right? So it's like one hand is up here going, don't abuse my little child. And the other's down here going, I got you.
Yeah.
Right?
I
For
had it
7
here.
years.
I had it here. Angel, demon.
Yeah.
Right here where
yeah.
it was a battle and I was in the middle.
Yeah.
You know,
and so there was no antidepressant that was going to take away that battle, right? Because that battle was the Earth mission to reestablish a love-based world where fear was completely dominant. That was the mission. They told me, you're not going to get a pill.
Yeah.
Other people might get a pill, but
then we learned how to face every fear there has been.
Every single fear, right? There's
I mean, look at what's coming out now, and we're just okay. Yep. Now that's coming. Now that's coming.
Can't wait till child trafficking is ended. Like it's going down soon. It feels so soon. I mean, with Sound of Freedom, oh my God, what a movie, right? And coming into the mainstream, you know, and doing.
And more than that, I mean, they're all doing interviews and more of the Hollywood,
right? The Monarch program.
Actors are getting involved and speaking out as well. And we knew that was going to happen because we knew we had people on the inside. Just like we have people on the inside at the government level. I wouldn't want that job.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
No, I wouldn't want that job.
But
they're in there. There's starseeds in there.
There's starseeds. I'm surprised it's taken so long for disclosure. I mean, weren't you like, why didn't it happen yesterday, the day before? I mean, I read about, went down the rabbit hole in 1993, I think is when I really started finding David Icke, and I really started learning the dark that was there, just incredible dark. And I'm just like, in 1993, I was just like, oh, no, I don't know why. I don't want to deal with it. I just put the book on the shelf and be like, no. But the more deeply my process, right, has taken me straight to the heart of the satanic matrix, right? Because I'm a dismantler of that thing. In fact, in March, the March equinox, I went heart to heart with like this fortress of black dragon Satan forces, and it felt satanic forces. It felt like it was like the archetypal sort of like the entire matrix, right? Like the king, the king dragon of the whole matrix. And my inner child was going through this incredible abandonment and heartbreak, past life, this life, like just massive heartbreak. And I was just weeping into the night on March 26th, actually. And I felt the king dragon come out of the fortress and he said, all right, you win. I can't, the purity of this heart, right, was just like, it took down the whole matrix. It was like, you win. Why we can't do it anymore. Remember in The Handless Maiden, when like she's going to be delivered to the devil and they chop off her hands, and in the weeping of her pure heart, the tears, the devil can't touch her. So it's that purity of the weeping, that pure heart. That's what takes down the king dragons. They literally die inside of that kind of purity. It's like a vampire with like the garlic,
Right. It's taken us this long to really build up this.
Yes.
To get to this point where we are man, it's our, I'm using this term a lot lately. It's
Yeah.
our co-creative unity.
Yes. Yes.
All
Yes.
we're at, a lot of us are in the, at, you know, we've graduated into this magnificence of who we are, knowing uh, we we can override these realities.
Right, right. It's like, and it's all the architecture that, the ancient builders, our higher selves are working on, bringing in these love-based architectures from Holy Mother and Holy Father, right? And the whole solar Christ masculine, the whole solar Christ feminine, opening these portals to ascension. So that, and through COVID, my God, through COVID, it's like we opened the portal all the way back to the God worlds. It was like, I always think of COVID, it's like the dinner bell, because when a fear-based reality that's really dominated by the Antichrist, pretty much, is left to run wild, free will, planet Earth. It's like there's a certain point where our parents, the God worlds, who we are in our higher selves, of course, have to
Yes.
they have to come back to the planet and ring the dinner bell. Like, it's over, kids, time to come home. And that's what COVID, like, but it has to get so bad. The kids have to go so far from the light that all of a sudden mom and dad are like going,
I
oh,
don't think
honey, we
COVID
better get
worked for
back
them.
down there. Like, we better get back down there. It's the end of the night.
I think the child trafficking and the going crazy with the migration and issues and I think COVID backfired on them in a way that many families stayed in touch with their Zoom calls and they're checking in on each other. You know, they had nothing else to do.
Well, my
Couldn't go
friend,
to work,
yeah,
and so you're caring,
distraction. Yeah.
you're finding ways to stay in touch with your family.
Yep.
And well, what happened down here is a lot of people that didn't believe the whole thing anyway just came down here to, you know,
Get away from it. Yeah.
may
I
as
mean,
well be at the beach, right?
well, I think with the vaccinations, with the crime against humanity that was attempted through that was a wake
Yeah.
up call. That was when mom and dad are like, okay, it's time to go back down there and ring the dinner bell. Right.
Yeah.
And that's when I think it was December. It was December 21st, 2020, I think, that we had that big Saturn Jupiter conjunct, a huge gateway opened. And it's like Holy Father from the 36th dimension, Holy Mother from the 48th dimension. They basically anchored at least preliminary architecture. And basically we're like, okay, we're back. Now we're taking the earth back. And the angels were telling me,
Which was the plan all along. I mean,
yeah, that was the plan for COVID, because we had a choice between a world
that's
war
right.
or
And
COVID.
COVID did work in a way. We knew ahead of COVID that there would be a lot of souls that would choose not
Yeah, to exit.
stay for the end.
Yeah.
Right? They
Yeah.
got all of what they wanted to get out of it, and that there would be a mass exodus, and boom, then COVID
Yeah.
and mass exodus. So it
Yeah.
was like we knew somehow there was going to be a mass exodus, and then look, oh, this is how.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I think the numbers are much greater than we're hearing as well.
Yeah. I
It
mean,
just seems towns are empty. It's very strange. Yeah.
we here in Portland, we have such a population increase that it doesn't feel like anything has really shifted with the population except for increasing. But I mean, yeah, I mean, these are like such controversial topics, but yeah, the whenever there's like the changing of the guard, right? From a fear-based world to a love-based world, you have to do some pretty major shenanigans, right? You have to
Yeah.
have the quote dark forces. Of course, everything comes from love, right? We're just in this
Right.
duality play. But the quote dark forces have to hang themselves at the end of the night because they're the ones that are in control, right? So they've got to somehow give up control so that the other team can come in, right? They have to throw the ball, like fumble, do a big fumble so that the ball can change hands. And so for me, that's what COVID was. That's what the vaccine, when it was like that huge fumble, like, no, you can't
A
go.
lot of fumbling.
You
There's a lot of
can't.
fumbling. Like they're not even smart enough to cover their tracks. You know, that, yeah, a lot of fumbling. And it's them taking themselves out, really.
Right. And at the end of the night, that's what we depend on, is their suicide. That's what happened
Yeah.
during pole shift prevention, and I don't want to get too dualistic, but I mean, it's just, so just to stop in this moment and remind ourselves that everything came from the oneness, right? Everything came from love. And at a certain level, there's no other.
Exactly. We're at that level now.
We're
We
at that
know
level
that.
where we have to encompass everyone into the heart, right?
Yeah.
Because we're going back into unity, and you can't have like
0 point. We're 0 point.
0 point where everything is one.
The future, the past.
Yep. So it's good to remind, because
now.
I mean, like I say, they and black dragons,
Yeah, but we
dragon
can do
moths,
that. Amongst ourselves, we
Anunnaki.
can do that because otherwise we wouldn't have the words.
Right, we wouldn't know what to say. The guys in
How
the
to
purple
call it.
shirts and the guys in the green.
I'm not gonna start creating new pronouns now.
Oh gosh, no more pronouns. I get so
No new
confused.
pronoun. Good
Oh
God.
my gosh, I get so
It is
confused.
funny. I mean, some of it is really funny to watch. It can be, we just observe in neutrality.
Well, what about this the transhumanistic agenda, which is basically trying to destroy the entire female gender, so it doesn't
That's
exist?
Rudolf Steiner.
And
You
it's
know
just,
Rudolf Steiner, right? It's the AI who's been waiting a long time, and now this is how it would trap souls in its artificial world.
right.
Which I think would be the same as the astral.
Yeah, I mean, right, we've got this.
But trapping there via transhumanism, also the, nanobots and the
And all the the Facebook virtual rooms, trying to get people to like disappear into a virtual world, right? So they can just be hijacked.
You can imagine. Do you remember the movie Tron?
That's
Tron was like AI
ago.
world. That was AI world. And imagine being stuck. I mean, you go in to play and you get stuck.
Yeah.
You can't get out.
It's not going to happen though. The Earth is going fully organic.
I think solar flares are going to take out a good deal
no. I mean, at a certain point, because we are slated for ascension. Like there's no timeline where the Earth does not ascend. So everything else is going to have to melt away, right? Because that organic matrix, like, did you see Lisa's newsletter where she's talking about the return of the Blue Rainbow Bridge?
Yes.
Builds out the diamond sun. I'm just like, hallelujah, that's our home matrix. That's the one we've been waiting for
We're there.
forever.
We're there. And these last 4 days, I feel it. It's like,
Yeah, and I'm actually
all new me. There's all new me here.
Yeah.
The last 4 days.
You know, Pamela, you see my Facebook posts, you see everything, like my Todd Medina interviews. Like, I mean, I've been, it's like, yes, I'm galactic, and yes, I'm from First Creation, and yes, I'm an ambassador of Divine Mother from Andromeda, and yes, I'm a Syrian guardian, but hey, I'm a human. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't have a sugar daddy. I have to make a living, and I have to keep the freedom codes open to get this Blue Rainbow Bridge in here. So I've had to like do some fancy extreme sports, just like always on the edge of poverty, just like,
I think
oh, it's like, Mom, can you
this is
send me this
true.
money? Frank, can you give me this money? Mom, can you get me, like, body talk sessions that are literally midwifing me between life and death, and I can barely pay for them. And I'm just like, dudes, I'm laying down entire templates for higher creational blueprints. Can you pay me a check? I
Yeah,
mean,
right?
can you
You
give
can
me a
ask,
salary?
you can ask, but you know what the answer is? Trust.
Well, it's trust. And the thing
The
is,
answer is trust, because now like I said, these last 4 days, it feels like, holy moly. Every team that we've got on every dimension, all the way back to source, right now is going to give us everything we need.
it has to be, right? And what I'm being told,
Allow.
yeah, yeah,
And I mean, the
allow,
teams are in.
allow.
Allow.
And I'm
You
being
know,
told though,
they're
I'm
like
being,
all over us. They're all over us. And it's like, look at this today. So today I find out a
I
neighbor.
gotta tell you something though, because it's
Is,
just like simmering. So I'll do it after you tell me.
no, it's just as an example. Suddenly, in 2 days' time, her landlady says she's not going to renew her lease, and she's decided to go move to another place far away where her sons live. And that was the universe. The universe is lining us all up and putting us where we need to be. And I mean, there's so many examples. So what were you going to say?
So what I was gonna say is that I'm actually, like, I haven't been able to have a niche, like nothing. And I've been on the outside, like just part-time nannying because, my teams drop me in for the Crystal children when they need me. So
Mm-hmm.
someone will find me in Portland, just on Facebook. I need you to be my son's nanny. And I drop in like Mary Poppins and I fly out just as fast. And so I'm like this secret agent nanny that gets called into for the kids every once in a
Yes,
while. But
that's what my stepdaughter does.
I
She
have.
did nanny, and
Okay,
she's a
hold
singer.
on. I want to tell
She's
you.
a singer songwriter
Yeah. So, I
at
mean,
nursing homes
being a
and
musician, being a
libraries with
healer,
children.
being a
Yeah,
singer, being a songwriter, being a children's advocate,
that
being
is your niche.
being a
That is
puppeteer.
the
Yeah,
niche.
but I've made no money in it. So the point is, now don't interrupt me. My God, I want to tell you this. So here's what happened. When the Blue Rainbow Bridge came in, I started realizing, okay, I'm a team captain for the first embodiers of the Diamond Sun. That's what and somehow, like, it's kind of like I saw it like like the Blue Angels, right? Or like like a flight instructor to help assist with the first embodiers that are path cutting this Blue Rainbow Bridge and all the codes that are bringing in the Diamond Sun. And so I've actually started designing this webinar. I can see that this feels like a niche, like this is wild enough, right? There's some kind of like boot camp, earth angel boot camp survival instructor. Okay, that's all I wanted to get out.
Mm.
So
I think those of us who understand, first of all, what stage we're at as far as, the guardian perspective.
yeah,
Personally, I don't feel like I could teach that to anybody. It's such an inside job.
yeah, I mean, I do.
It's such an inside job to reach this level. And if you're the forerunners of the forerunners,
Yeah,
um, it's throughout, I've certainly spent quite a few years doing women's groups and web workshops and teaching, ascension teaching. But boy,
it is such an
since
inside job.
2015, it's all about just keeping up with the forerunners of the forerunners. And yeah, and
Yeah,
uh, and letting the teaching go. I let it go.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of I'm in a very surrendered mode, but even in that surrendered mode, I'm getting that download to take up that role. So we'll see what happens. Like we
Yeah,
started out, it's
no.
all a play.
Yeah, definitely. I'm waiting. I'm waiting too. Tell me, what do I do next? Come on.
So your land now, were you talking about your landlady where you're living?
No, no, my
Oh, no, no.
neighbor,
Your
a friend,
neighbor.
a
Okay.
friend who just suddenly this has all happened to her. It's just indicative of how the universe is really putting everybody where they need to be right now.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, okay, now you've got to move.
Yeah, for her, that was, yeah, for her, in my mind, the perfect. Even though she's got 2 weeks to pack up and a house full of stuff and get it across country, in the end result is perfect for her. So
Right, it's
the universe
trusting.
is definitely, this is going on, got this going on. And I'm
Right, I
like,
guess we
I'm
all have
asking,
our
I'm asking, what next? What next?
what next? I know because like as the logos, right, the blueprint of the planet, like as it wakes up and starts giving the instruction sets to all of us as cells in this great mind, right? This great global brain that we
Mm-hmm.
all that just like in a body, the heart cells go together and the skin cells and the kidney cells and
All right.
that there's that cohesive, right? That it's not random, that there's a great purpose in
Yeah,
all of the placement, each one placed.
absolutely. Yeah,
And so do you
absolutely.
feel like you'll be staying there in Puerto Escondido? Does it
I
feel?
think so. There's been no indication to move. So I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
You're holding it down.
I walk the beach a
No,
lot and, anchoring,
yeah.
meditating and anchoring. And, the dragon clouds show up all the time. And I know that this is where I've been, where I'm supposed to be. I'm definitely anchored here. I'm just wondering, how long do we do that? What?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to wonder. I'm allowing. I'm allowing.
We just gotta allow. It's so much. Hey, so how far are you from the beach?
Okay. It's one street in from a road that goes down 500 feet to the beach. So I
Oh,
drive it. I
yeah.
drive it because I have old knees. Um,
Yeah, 500 feet down. Ay.
it's a steep road. It's a steep road. Yeah, steep and windy road. And but I mean, it's right there. There's a tree line between me and the horizon, so I don't see the sun. I have to walk one street over to watch the sunset over the ocean. Just one street.
Not bad.
Yeah. But I walk the beach in the mornings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Aw. Have you talked to Todd lately? Have you been on?
No, I haven't been on. Um,
How was
random conversations here and there. Yeah.
I love that he's doing this, with Sology, like giving people their own shows and,
That was
really.
that was his dream. That was his plan. Even
Oh,
that he could step back a little more so that there would be 24/7,
shows going
shows going
on.
on. I mean, you
Yeah, I
could have a
messaged him and
show.
said, I'd love to do a show.
You can have a show. You can go on and do, however long if you want, singing songs or what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't know what the entry process to that is. I just messaged him on Facebook, but sometimes messaging Morgan is better because she's kind of his
More
secretary.
organizer. Yeah, she's more
So I might go,
organizer.
Morgan, what's Todd doing? I want to do a show. But yeah, I always love
Yeah,
it.
I was going to say that earlier. The thought popped in my mind that we're so spread apart. But when starseeds get together, they play.
We play.
It's
Are you
like,
going to the Zoology Fest?
I don't know yet. I do not plan ahead.
I know.
I do not
What
plan
about
ahead.
Sandra Walter in Sedona? I mean, that's coming up.
I am any day now going to be a great grandmother.
Oh, you
Any day
are.
now.
And
So I'm waiting
where?
on that, and I'll be doing some traveling and visiting. And so it wasn't appropriate to plan August, September events.
Yeah. So where is your great grandchild?
Florida.
Oh, sweet.
Yep.
So you'll be
Can you believe it?
traveling.
Can you believe it?
You look great for a great grandma. You're great.
That's how she told me. She said, "You look great for a great grandmother." And I was, "Oh, thank you, honey." Wait, what?
That's a lot of greats.
What? Yeah, that's how she told me about the pregnancy. So, yeah.
Oh, that's how she actually introduced it.
That's how she actually told me, "You look great for a great grandmother."
Oh my goodness. That's
I know, baby. I haven't been around babies all my life, really.
how many kids do you
Long
have?
time. A long time. I had just the one son, and he passed away in
Oh,
2006. Yeah. So this is a special baby. It's his daughter.
oh,
Yeah.
your son.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But he's showing up. He showed up yesterday for them. Um, it's amazing. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like his
Yeah.
spirit like came in a dream or
An owl. He comes as an owl. I found him in my kitchen one night, and I was just like, I held him for hours, and then I put him in a cage until the morning because I have 10 cats.
oh yeah,
And
cats would make mincemeat.
then, he would come visit and sit up in the cocoa tree. And then he started showing up to them in Florida. So it's definitely him. There's no doubt about it, because the day he showed up in my kitchen, it was on the anniversary of the day he passed over. And, it was a totally, it's fine. Or was it his birthday? It was his birthday. I
Ah,
can't right now. I don't know.
when he was alive,
Oh,
did he love owls?
the thing I mentioned earlier, what is coming up since yesterday in awareness is that I follow a website called Schrodinger's Cats. They're just a bunch of psychics. And they said that on Monday night, it might have been afternoon, your time, it
Uh-huh.
started that Source was doing a memory wipe
Hmm.
on us.
On the first wave, Frontline.
Could be just, it could be the ascending ones. I don't know. It wasn't clarified. But at the same time, I'm getting an email from another sister and a messenger chat from another sister. And then I'm chatting with a sister on that day. Something's happened. Something's happened. And in my journal, I wrote, something big is happening. And the whole body felt different. And they were saying, and this was Monday, and they were saying, writing and saying, there's been a memory wipe. Now, I'm used to memory wipes from like military abductions, you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I know what that feels like. This is different. And then, Schrodinger's cat says it's source itself that has, I suppose, it removes a certain amount of
Well, it's like
cellular
Yeah, it's like
cellular.
impediments. Like, like Lisa says, like in her newsletter, she talks about how all the three layers, right? Because the last time we had the diamond sun body was probably 280,000 years ago, maybe on
Yeah.
Tara. Maybe it was 220 million years ago. But the last time we've had the diamond sun body, we were in our fifth dimensional bodies. But what's happening on Earth right now is that the diamond sun is path cutting and it's re-including the first, second, and third dimensions. So
Yeah.
it's like the whole entire lower form world of the ego has to be purged, right?
Yeah.
In order for that diamond sun body to really anchor. So Lisa said it's going to be like near death. And
Yeah.
so the source is probably assisting us
Yes, for
by
sure.
taking us out of the attachment to those memories, right? The ones that
Yes.
have to go. It's great to
Yeah.
have them like just kind of like wipe it off so it's more gentle
Staged.
and you
We just
blaze
got
your fire
staged
through the
this
whole
time.
thing. Right? It's like put
Uh,
us on an anesthetic before you just wipe out the entire
yeah.
ego.
Yeah.
'Cause I think it was Sunday night. It may have been Monday night. I tagged you in my post. Remember that song, Lejos de la nada,
It might have been
siento
Monday.
algo más aquí.
I
Un
think it
mundo.
was because we all noticed it.
Do
I
you know?
noticed
I
that
gotta look
people
at
were
my phone.
noticing
Hold
it.
on. I gotta see. What was it? I mean, because remember Lejos de la nada? Remember that song?
Yes. Yeah.
And so I was so so melancholy, like I was being absorbed back. The longing to go into the oneness was so intense. And I was just,
Yes.
I got,
And that's
oh, it
what
was,
I
you know what
felt
it was?
since.
It was, okay, I talked to my friend Graham on Sunday morning. It was Saturday night. Saturday night. It's like I was being taken in. So by Monday, probably when the wipe happened, I was like, yeah, whatever. Because
Well, thoughts are things. Thoughts are things, and maybe as a co-creative unity thought, we were all in the same place, right?
right,
Right.
right.
And
That
then
song
and
is
then we get
so
this
beautiful.
gift. And then we get this gift. And
I
now
just
we're
wiped that off for you.
yeah. I mean, can you believe we're in August already of this year? And the second half of this year has to be like it, capital I, capital T. And it's
Yeah.
got to be we go out of this year with superpowers.
Well,
So
April 2024, right, is like, that's supposed to be, that's the 7-year anniversary from the 2017 eclipse, right?
yes,
So that's
yeah,
like a big bookend. Sandra Walter was
it's
talking
totally
about.
big. But I'm saying gifts. I'm saying um, where exponentially now.
Receiving more of our.
It's not right. We're we're doing these stair steps or exponentially growing into our gifts and that there's not going to be a moment like a specific date boom. It's like from here on out.
Like a blossoming, right? Like an acceleration.
Yes,
Yeah.
acceleration,
What I'm doing is getting into my root.
expansion.
So what
Yeah.
I'm doing lately is getting into my root, right? So that angelic diamond light can get all the way down into the core, right? Because I'm working on my large intestine in acupuncture. And it's like
Mm.
I'm laying there on the table and he's putting the needles in it. And I'm just screaming.
Oh
He,
no.
he's pressing on my heart. And oh no, he's wonderful. I love him so much.
Yeah, it's not supposed to
He's,
hurt.
oh no, it does with me. Because
Really?
being in this body, yeah, being in this body is an absolute extreme sport. I was annihilated. My heart was
Wow.
blown to the opposite end of the universe. Oh, don't talk about it. Internet's unstable. Let's talk about something else. I swear to God, I can create.
Internet's unstable. Yeah,
Yeah,
shift the
so, but
energy.
he's pressing on my heart. And I literally went back to this moment where in ancient Lemuria, where I was just shattered and I was having to experience it in the body. So I was screaming. He's like, go to the place beyond creation, be in the oneness, right? He's like, be in the singularity, just breathe. It's all a play. And I'm just like, and it was just very, very intense as the needles were going in today. And he was just like, Sarah, there's a place beyond all creation where you've always been home. You've
Oh, I
always been
like this
home.
guy.
Oh, he's amazing. He is my spiritual midwife, my best friend, my acupuncturist. He takes me through the depth of trauma that nobody else could take me through. And he's just right
Mm.
there with me. He stays with Amma 6 months of the year in India. So he has a lot of
Oh,
Amma in him. But today he was just like, okay, go beyond cause and effect reality. You are not any of this. Let's let it go. Let's feel it and let's let it go. And so we did. I mean, I felt it. I let it go. The needles came in, and acupuncture has been the best way to get, my 48 strand imprint body being into this body, right? Because it's been massacred, it's been tortured, and it's all in the
sure.
gateway into the body is where all the trauma is for
Yeah.
a veil. I'm a veil lifter, right? So the veil is the jailing of the entire trauma system of the whole 3D body. So to get in here is a massive extreme sport for me. That's why acupuncture, it's like, okay, we're going in. Here comes the needle. Here's the lifetime. I'm being exploded. I'm being massacred. I'm dying. I mean, it's just over.
Enough. We've had enough. I like what he said. How did he say it? How did he
Well,
put
he
it?
said,
We've gone beyond the causal and effect. The cause
right,
and effect.
that there's a part of us,
Because we are all the way to source now.
there's a part of us, right? We're in an intense emotion, right? At the egoic level, we're in a feeling that this is happening to us, but there's a place where we're always home, right?
Right.
Where we're always one.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
God and creator allowed every one of these experiences. And so as we move back to our God creator, then we don't resist anything. And as we stop resisting, then we're set free into this primordial oneness.
Yeah.
So,
Freedom. Be free.
so on the
Be
table, that's what
free.
I was doing
No more.
today.
No more cause and effect. Be free. I think we are now walking Earth as a human, but also us as source.
Yeah. I mean, and that's
Us
ultimately,
as source, and us as divine plan. And
yeah.
there's like no fear in that at all. And it's like whatever was past was worth it.
Yeah. And, it's like in the free will universe, the free will experience, God basically said, I want to have all these possibilities at the delicatessen of duality. I want to try everything. And so in the end, everything gets embraced back into the oneness. There's no thing that didn't come from God. And some
Right.
people call it misqualified energy, right? That all these experiences are misqualified energy, but that's all just semantics, right? At the end of the night, you have to breathe it all back into the one breath. And
Into the
when
oneness.
she was doing the needles today, it was like, okay, it all came from love. I've always been held in love. Like I was left to die in this dumpster, and it took like 3 weeks, this past life in England, and it took like probably 2 or 3 weeks for me to take my last breath, because when you're an infant you are so filled with the desire to live. It's so ripe. And when your
Mm.
mother leaves you to die as an infant, it's the longest death. You can't even believe she's not coming back. You keep thinking, oh, she's coming back, until your heart stops.
Yeah, I've had memories,
I
such
had to go through
memories.
that on the table to get the needle into the heart point.
Mm.
But hopefully
Yeah.
I'll go to the bathroom today. So
Oh, that acupuncture does that. It
well,
does
he's
that.
working
That
on the
works.
large intestine. Like
Yes.
that's where he's working, because that's where my deepest and gnarliest traumas are, in that intestinal meridian, right? Because it's the holding on. It's the one that holds on. Like, I gotta be something. I gotta be a success. I gotta make this person love me, right? It's the doer. It's the I. The I lives in my intestines. So he had me doing these affirmations of I am nothing, not in a bad way, but just really letting go of
Yeah.
the need
I
to
am.
be anything.
I call it letting go of personality. I am not
Yes,
that personality anymore.
yes, like
I
really
am that
what
I am, but I am
I
not that personality anymore. Letting go of the personalities. Yeah.
Yep. I want to play you this one song. Can I play you a song?
Okay, sure.
So there's a song that I wrote when it was one of those times when, I was just trying so hard to be something in the world and make money and feel like I was a legitimate citizen because I was financially supporting myself. And I was just so tired. I was just like, I can't do it anymore. And I have to drop the D to do this. Man, this guitar is so out of tune. Oh, that's not it. Da, da. I'm doing drop D, which is D-A-D, G-A-D. And it's just says D-A-D, and then there should be a fourth. Da, 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 da. I'll edit.
Remember, you're doing it on the beach with the ocean behind you.
Oh, yeah. Here it comes. This should be on. Okay, now. So I just sat down and my guitar was in drop D. And drop D is just really beautiful. It's different than the other key that our guitar is normally in. And I just started singing. And I was just feeling melancholy, like, I can't do this earth thing. I don't want, there's no job I want. And I have to create my livelihood. And yet nobody comes to my song circles. Nobody joins my choir. I have no healing clients. I can't play this game anymore. I just want to go home. And I just picked up the guitar and started singing this song. Long before there was ever a thought of me, I was floating in a warm, sweet sea. Long before I knew the words to any song, I was singing, always singing the song of love. And that's just like, right? Like before any of this crazy game of trying to be something and trying to do something and pretending to be important in this separate, crazy play, which is so much created by trauma, this need to try to prove, and that in the core of the love that's always holding us, we're always home. We're always home. It's like mom's always there. I remember one time in meditation, there's a beautiful, beautiful man named David Waldman who now calls himself Devaji. And I used to go to satsang with him. And I would walk up to sit with him and he would tell me about being nothing.
Right.
And I would ask him questions like, what am I going to do? I don't know what my career is. And he'd say, there is no doer. And I'd just be like, what do you mean there is no doer? Of course there's a doer. I'm the doer. I have to do something. And I remember I came home and I had this dream. And in the dream, part of me is walking up to ask him the question, right? But part of me has never left my seat. And it's like, oh, wow. It's like, there's a part of me that's always home. Like, even if I'm driving on a dark night on a stormy road and I'm terrified and I'm far from everything I know, there's a part of me that's resting at home in that primordial oneness. It's always there. And so I think with this blue diamond bridge, the illusion that we're not home is starting to like melt ever more, right?
Yes.
And so there's no way we can
feel home. Feel home. Feel that field of love and that floating. That is so available now. It really is so available now. I'm very grateful. I'm very lucky that I busted my ass so that I was able to buy this house. And in Mexico, there's no expenses. Food costs nothing.
Yeah. Once you've got a house, it's good.
Yeah. So I got God, universe, got me this deal on this house, which was ridiculous. So I was able to pay cash. And it set me up. Little did I thought I was buying a vacation home. Little did I know, in less than 2 years, I'd be living here full time. So it was a setup for sure, but able to live on, it's not like the US where I have to have all of these expenses.
Right.
And, I pay for the water, I pay for the electric. That's it.
Good job.
Yeah. So I don't have that pressure. And I'm really grateful for that. I'm really grateful because, it allowed me to do what I'm doing. But it's also being here pretty far, thousands of miles away from family and, other starseeds that I know. I'm able to spend a lot of time just meditating or contemplating in silence. Very, very, I go days. Thank goodness I have my cats to talk to. Otherwise, I wouldn't be using my voice. But that I feel it now. I feel it that that bridge is functional.
Yeah.
It's functional.
Yeah. It was interesting.
And source is with us now. And like they said, there you're not the one doing the doing. You're not the doer.
Yeah.
You're not the doer now anymore. The doer is this co-creative unity, oneness. allowance.
I want to compare a little note with you because for me, I mean, Lisa said that June 18th was the day that the Emerald Capstone from the 48th dimension really connected in with the 36th dimension with the Holy Father. So the Merlion's Holy Father at the 36th was connected to the 48th, which is like that. Lisa calls it the capstone, right, of the emerald sun. And that's what builds out the diamond sun body, our original
Yes.
blueprint. It comes from the emerald sun. And so, and it's this blue rainbow bridge architecture is what is put in place to rehabilitate the ascended masters that have been trapped in the grids since the explosion of Tara. And all of
Yeah.
us that were on Tara have exploded body parts, which are being rehabilitated, which is going on
Yeah.
in the intestines. That's why I'm screaming. I'm feeling the shattering of the whole plane, Tara, in my heart. So anyway,
I know these aspects, these fractals are all coming together.
yeah, they're all coming together. And so what happened, that was June 18th. And then over like the next week, I had some super powerful non-dual experiences of like, these poems just started coming out of me at the end of the night. When you failed at everything you've ever tried, it's time to go home. And they were just like telling me, go home. It's time to go home. And on July 4th, failure, not really failure, but nothing in this world has really worked for me. So it's a perfect way to usher me into my home. So it's like this, the blessing of not succeeding at anything. Like Jim Carrey was saying, the best thing that can happen to you is to succeed at every single thing and then realize it doesn't get you what you want at all. The second best thing is to not succeed at anything so that you're completely done. And then source just takes you right home. And so that was happening to me.
Well, success, of course, it's perspective.
Right, material and world.
And according to whose
external
values.
Let's just say
according
external.
to whose values. We didn't
come here for
I mean, we came to bust those grids anyway, those.
Yes, I totally get
perspective. There is no failure. There is no failure.
Yeah.
There isn't. Yeah.
So what I want to say is July 4th, I had this body talk session, and my body talk practitioner, she said, it is time for you to give your 3D mind permission to step aside. And it was amazing because I said the permission. I give my 3D mind permission to step aside and allow myself, I give myself permission to be led, to have all my bodies be led by spirit through signs and symbols in the outside world. And at that point, I began a vision quest. My computer shut down, wouldn't work anymore. It's
as it does.
Yep.
Universe.
And then it was like I was on a vision quest. Like the emerald sun was taking me through this emerald forest to climb these higher mountains and allow this like brand new architecture to touch me. On July 4th was the day. And then Lisa brings this big thing about the blue rainbow bridge. And I was like, whoa, okay, so this is like the instruction sets for this higher creational blueprint, right? That's why we have to be wiped, because it's this higher creational blueprint, and anything in the lower creational blueprint will actually eclipse and impede the timeline of being embodied by the higher creational template. And so for like 4 or 5 days, I walked like a child in a mystical forest, right? Because I had no computer. I wasn't going to try and strategize for my next job. I was like, I'm done. I'm going to just wander. And so for about 5 days, probably from July 4th to July 9th, I just walked in my bare feet on the grass and looked up at the sky and acted like I was in a garden, like and these highest frequencies were coming down. I was like channeling so much divine, like the devic spirits and the paradisical earth, all these really outlier frequencies, because I was leaving everything I had known behind And I was like,
Yes.
and that happened July 4th for me. So I wanted to ask you.
Freedom. And you
Oh,
gave yourself permission to
yeah.
do that. You made that intention. You gave yourself permission.
Yes.
And then boom, the computer goes out. I love the universe. It happens to me too.
It's
Or
hilarious.
the
And it said if
electricity
you
goes
turn it
out.
on, it said if you turn it on again, there could be lasting damage, is what the instructions said.
Oh my God.
It's like, don't turn on your 3D mind.
Talk about signs. I
There
give
could be
you permission
lasting
to give me
damage.
a sign. And you got it in a banner going across. That's funny.
And now it works.
That's funny.
It's come back to me. So I guess
Sure.
I had enough time out of time
Yes.
in that higher, what do you want to say? Like, well, the interesting thing is the
Connected with all the kingdoms
all the kingdoms
and the light and
yeah.
source and yeah.
And the vector, like the time vector points, like time vector coordinates, as far as I'm understanding it, they determine how you experience yourself in time and space and what you're available to in the universe. And the Merkaba, right? The masculine Merkaba, star tetrahedron, the feminine Merkaba, I think they hold together in 3D. The Merkaba in 3D holds 360 time vector points. Maybe it might be 720. No, I think it's 360. And then the Emerald Ankh, or the Diamond Ankh body, which comes with the Emerald Sun, right? This is our new blueprint. That Emerald Ankh body has 1,440 time vector points. So we've got to like go on the vision quest and leave the mind behind, right? Because we got to get from 360 to 1,440.
Yeah.
It's like we're not in Kansas anymore.
No. Well, my whole nights are spent with very vivid scenes of me, but another aspect of me, another reality of me.
Yeah.
And every night I'll have one or two of those. And I've been doing this for a couple of months. It's like, just merging and retrieving.
Merging with that. Yeah, that's
yeah.
cool. Are
Yeah.
you like semi-awake while it's happening, or are you?
I'm aware and I'm interested in, interesting choice right there that you did. All right. They're all over the place. The experiences are all over the place, but I'm usually pretty good. If I have vivid, like a lucid dream, I can keep that until noon in my head until I write it down in my journal. But with regular dreams, if I don't pay attention right away as I'm waking up, I lose it and it's gone. And kind of what I've been doing, is like, well, there's so many of these. I'm not going to write them all down. I'm just like grateful, merging, done.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you just merge it and get the intel and be like, I've done it.
Yeah. It's all these different realities and situations, and it's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, I'm a dream person, so I'm aware that this is. Some people don't remember their dreams at all, but I am a dream person, and I'm aware that this is happening and that this is a real merging going on.
Yeah, and one of the things that we're learning in energetic synthesis is that all 12 cycles of time in the lower egoic realms. So all 12 cycles, and it ends up being 1,728 aspects of self. All of them are coming in to the now self now.
Well, no wonder it's been going on for months.
I mean, can you imagine 1,728 aspects of self are being integrated into the diamond sun body? It's because it's
and they weren't any of them a party.
Right, because it's the lower form. right? These are the lower form egoic
Yeah.
consciousness in first, second, third dimension in
Yeah.
all 12 cycles of time. So it's like
Yeah.
everything that's not in 5D or above, that's not resonating in the oneness, basically, right, is being rehabilitated. So it's being
Yes.
purged. It's like,
Yes.
hello, integrate.
And it's
Hello.
purging out in my dream state. And so the the decision not to write these down, because I'm not holding on to them, I'm letting them go.
Yeah,
It's,
you're letting them go.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, love you. We've been chatting for a bit. We could probably go on forever.
Oh, well, always. That's
wanna
good.
I wanna come
It's
visit
good
you
to
down
be in
there.
touch, though. Are you planning on doing any Sandra or Sedona or?
When I ask, it's weird. It's like I'm kind of like how's the word? So I'm intrigued and I'm curious because I'm being asked to step into this leadership position by my higher self. And it's taking me away from from other leaders. Like it's not
No, get it. I get it. Get it. Get it. I
just
get
because
it. Get
I've
it.
got
Get it.
there's a slightly different thing I'm bringing, and it hasn't
Yeah.
been brought yet, right? Like I haven't discovered it yet. Like Sandra's got her thing dialed in, right?
Yeah.
I
Yes, she
don't
does.
have my thing dialed in. The angels told me last night. I was at this reading where my friend was channeling the angels, and they said, "Yes, beloved one, you are correct. You're seeing a tangible role that you're being called to play. So it's not just an egoic thing of I've got to be famous and I have to have a role. It's not that. This is actually something that's being handed down and it's in alignment with ascension." And
Yeah.
they said every day we want you to expand all the way out into the cosmos and do it
Yeah.
at least 7 times a day.
Yeah.
And as you're going out, 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 just the whole universe, then you're gonna come back in. And as you're coming back in, we want you to pay close attention to what you're gathering, right? As you
Mhm.
land back in your body. And do this 7 times and take notes and journal. And you're gonna be discovering, the what these first embodiers that are going to be really drawn to you are needing. You're going to know what it is that's in your webinar, right? Your introductory webinar that is most going to serve them, and you're going to know it because it's what serves you as you start to get close to your body after it.
Doing the experiences
Yeah.
7 times a day.
7 times that day, I'm supposed to do that and just become one with the whole cosmos and then
Yeah.
come back in and then see what comes to me. Like, how are we embodying this thing, right? Like being
Yeah.
out there with all those instruction sets and then coming and connecting back through the root chakra, the crown chakra, the throat, the feet on the ground, because it's this axis mundi positive feedback loop, right, that creates the diamond sun body. And that there's this intel that will happen as I expand out and then come back in. So they gave me that
You're coming back in with source, us as source.
right, and then to resource whatever it is that is going to serve this
I
particular
like that.
group, right? Because I don't
Resource.
know.
I like that. Resource it.
Yeah, because the
Yeah.
ego's like, come on now. If I were a sound healer, you'd train me in sound healing. If I were gonna do spiritual folk music, I'd sing spiritual folk music. If I were, I want to be like, okay, I'm cooking hot
What
dogs.
you know
But
so well is that field of love. I
yeah,
mean, you know that well.
yeah. So the field of love,
And that's what has to come in.
yeah, and to
And you
help
do know that well. So go
others.
out, spend some time there, and bring it back. And when you bring it back, then the bullshit distractions happening, we just know not part of our new world,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and that somehow in the bringing it back, there will be guidance as to what is most needed.
What's most needed will come to you, because that's synchronicity.
Yeah.
That's unity. Unity with source
Yeah.
and the oneness is synchronicity.
Yeah, it's like, okay, source, if you have a job for me, then you'll tell me what it is.
Yeah.
Because I have this webinar, I wrote, or I didn't write, but I made a slideshow for the introduction to it, and I'm getting all excited. Oh, I'm going to be a trainer for the first embodiers of the Diamond Sun, and I'm going to go with them and be with them, and I'm going to be on the team, but I'm sort of going to be a captain of the team, and I can feel it. And I'm like putting all these slides together. And then 2 days later, I came back and I'm like, but, but, but I don't know what's in the webinar. I started to cry.
Well, that's what you're going to go out and get.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to go out and get and bring back in and write it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But when you're spending time out there in that space, floating, and just, there's no pressure there, nothing, just love. That is time you're not spending in your head.
Yay.
Here, right? And that's expansion.
Yeah.
That's giving yourself permission for the expansion.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
that we will all. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to see what we're like by the end of the year. I can't wait.
I know. What are we gonna be? Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. I mean, like my angels told me that I've been a wild horse in way more lifetimes than I've been a human, because the wild horse has the freedom codes, right? And they race across the fields and the hills, and they're ecstasy of dynamic motion. And so being a human is like an extreme sports experience for my aquafairy human hybrid self. Like an aquafarian is super free, right? More freedom codes, like swimming through plasma seas with rainbow. Some of us are birds, some of us are fish. We shapeshift back and forth between the aquatic and the ones that fly through the air. Either the plasmas are air or the plasmas are water, but we're just free like crazy. Like
in my house,
yes,
I very often wonder, how many of my cats are angels and how many are demons. It's like, who chooses to be a cat? They're yeah.
How many cats do you have?
10 now. I have 10.
10.
I've lost a couple. I had 13. And old age.
The cat lady in Mexico.
I'm rescuing the cats. Not anymore, though. I mean, I figure, they might long outlive me if I take in any more kittens.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Oh my God.
I've got enough.
Immortality, though, Diamond Sun body codes rehabilitate everything in the physical. So there's no reason to think that we're not going to become immortal in this. I mean, we'll choose.
Oh, true. Absolutely. Yeah. And wherever I go, these guys are coming with me. They're going through this energy shifting as well. It's obvious.
You guys are like on an arc together. You and all the cats.
We're going together.
Oh, Pamela. I have to
Okay, honey. Well, very lovely to catch up. Love you too.
Okay.
You take good care of you and go up there into that field of love and just float.
Okay, I will.
And let me know what you bring back. I'm sure there'll be some really good stuff.
I will. I love you.
Yeah. Okay. Mwah.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for joining me, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this episode. You can find all of the guest information as well as my contact information in the show notes. The musical selections for the intro and the outro were Let Yourself Be Awash in a Sea of Love and Mother Song. You can listen to and purchase these songs and more at sarahdams1.bandcamp.com. If you found value in today's content, please like and share, as it really helps support the continued production of this podcast. If you would like to schedule a free informational call with me, you can do that at calendly.com/SarahAdamsHealing/30 minutes. Many blessings, and we will see you in the next episode. Mother, flow the golden raindrops from your loving hand. Mother, feel me dance upon your warm brown land. Mother, blow the breezes of the springtime wind, for you are the light that breathes the breath in me.